trying to fix my camera. I'm in a new spot tonight, guys. That works. That will do me. Nice. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to tonight's feed. Sorry, let me turn the comments on. Hello, Linda. Hey, Vicky. 2 Vickies in a row. Hello, hello. Nice to see you all this evening. Sorry I was a few minutes late. I was trying to sort this all out in the background. All right. Hello. Hey, Ellen, Chloe, Amber. Hey, Aunt Karen. Beautiful. Ah, good morning. Good morning, Lisa. Nice. All right, so got a few comments coming in, so I'm just going to grab up. Wow. Got people calling me. All right. So as usual, guys, no pregnancy, no legal, no health questions. Also, please be Pacific if you would like a Pacific reading. Otherwise, if I'm drawn to you and you haven't given me a Pacific, I will just draw some general for you, okay? So I'm just going to go down the list. Please feel free to comment more than once, but don't smash the page. Sorry. All right, Amber, let me jump into you. All right, Amber. Amber. You know, Amber, when I sit with you and I'm sitting and I'm shuffling the cards, as you can see, and I take a breath, and I really feel like that's where I'm connecting with you. And I want to say to you, just do the same. Just kind of sit back and really just take that moment to go, how am I thinking? Not necessarily what am I, I've got a little fly thing. Not what I'm thinking about, but how am I thinking? You know, and just sort of sit with that for a moment and just see if it's serving you to your best purpose. I feel like you're kind of aware of your skills and you're aware of your gifts and, you know, all of those kind of little bits and pieces, but that you've kind of got that energy behind you that hasn't necessarily nurtured that. And it's almost like ego is a bit of a dirty word. So, you know, I want to sort of encourage you to step a little bit more into that and take a little bit more ownership with that. And I just feel like it clears some decision making around you. It's almost like I don't want to say that you're stuck, but it's like we're going, it's what I hear in my head and when I giggle, it goes, it's like you're pushing shit uphill, all right? And so what I want to say to you is that you can actually take that shit and use it to, you know, what do they call it, fertilise your garden and actually, you know, make it work for you rather than trying to actually drag it along with you. You're meant to be, you know, as I said, going up the hill, but you're carrying this big bag of stuff that you just don't need, but can actually serve a purpose for you if you leave it behind. Okay, and that is clearing a better path and making it a little bit more pretty along the way. And I know that that's a metaphor, but I just feel like that's where I need to sit with you right now. And I will pull you a couple of cards. Nice. All right. I giggle. Sorry. I keep looking at my background. I know it looks like a little bit poo-poo tonight, but we're just going to have to deal with that because if I try to fix it, it just looks worse. And you know what? You're here to see me, not my background, or here to get the readings. All right, so your first card out is out with the old and in with the new. And that's what I'm saying, like leaving the shit behind, literally just that, okay? And when we do that, you've got the movement on towards better things, okay? But you're surrounded by uncertainty and, you know, confusion and doubt and clouded judgment. And for me, as I said, that moment that you're feeling caught that's there, and I don't want to say it's like this one specific thing, as I said, that's why I just want to sit back and be reflective and things like that. Have a look and see where you're getting in your own way. You are absolutely ready to move forward, but yeah, take all of that on board. I hope it helps. All right, time to really sit and go, you know what, if I don't have necessarily the highest, you know, my self-worth isn't as absolutely high as I want it to be, my confidence isn't as high as I want it to be, you know, you fake it till you make it. If you can't, dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with bullshit, all of that sort of stuff that's there, because you know that it's in you, so you need to start stepping into those shoes, okay? The shoes will wear in, you will become comfortable with it. That's what I really want to kind of stress with you, okay? Because that's going to be the key to you actually going, yeah, wow, I am awesome. And that's okay to say that, all right? So I hope that helps. All right. Nice. All right. Let me just... Beautiful. Sorry, I've got a couple going as well, so I'm just watching different ways. Let me catch up on. And Christy, I want to pull some cards for you as well. So some insight on your love life right now. I will say, as I start to shuffle and tune in, my, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it usually is a duck. So just be mindful. I'm going to pull you some cards. Christy. I want to say to you, I feel like things are just kind of tangled up. When we got like a ball of wool and it's a mess, okay? And what I want to say to you is when we actually release that and we sit and just spend the time, even if, it's tedious and that ball of wool goes running off and all of a sudden it's just not as neat, and we've got to spend the time spooling it back. But when we do, then it's so much more easier to actually go on and create what it is that we wanted to create, okay? So, full of metaphors tonight, obviously, but that's what I feel like needs to be done here. I don't actually want to take that ball of wool and throw it away, okay? So whether that's, I feel like I'm connecting in with people, so that may well be that you're holding on to people or that it is a current situation around you. It's funny, that's a card that flipped over. Some heartaches, the challenging matters of the heart. And you know what, pulling up your boundaries and your assertiveness and all of those kind of little bits and pieces, it is hard and it is challenging and it does take some courage the first few times that you do it, but that's what I feel like we're doing. We're looking at that, as I said, that tangled mess that's there. Sit it down, start at the end piece there and start to unravel it, okay? And take the time to undo each knot and everything else. And I don't suggest that you sit there and do like this tedious, we said this to me last month and we did this last week, or I did this last year. It's more so looking at it going, okay, let's be realistic, let's just sit and work through the processes. If there's not honesty and there's not time to actually, undo the knot that's sitting there, then you can ravel that ball of wool back up and keep moving forward, but you're going to be knitting and creating this beautiful thing and you're going to run into this jam again, okay? So, again, I am the queen of metaphors, but let me pull you a couple of cards. I swear I've got to get the camera sorted out that points to the cards on the table. Yeah, see? Nice. Alright. So as I said, you've got the clearing out stables, which is why I smacked as well, because the first three cards I just pull randomly from anywhere in the deck. So out with the old and in with the new, okay? You've got my unity card that's there, and it talks about love and relationship and trust. And I've got two cards that I've created around love in this deck. And, for me, very much so, what it is that, just that love, relationships and trust. It's true. It's genuine stuff, okay? And so very much so, I want to say to you that that's what I see here, but we need to be mindful of where our intentions lay. Where energy goes, where energy flows. And if we don't take the time, as I said, to unravel the knots and actually look at the things that's stopping the flow of the creation, and the creation being, love and relationships, then you're just going to keep running into tangles and your knitting sticks are going to be all like, ugh. You get my point, okay? So take the time now to untangle the mess, okay? Do it slowly, do it intentionally, be mindful of where your intentions lay, and instead of sitting there and looking at that big tangled ball of wool going, oh freaking God, look at that big ball of wool and go, you know what, once I spend a couple of, a bit of time untangling this, gee whiz, look at what I'm going to be able to create out of it. And that was worth the time and effort of untangling what I haphazardly let fall in the first place, okay? Obviously it takes two, so I don't mean that directed just at you, but you get it, all right? So I hope that helps. Thank you very much for joining. All right. Hello, Mackenzie. Please feel free to drop your questions. I will get to them. Please feel free to comment more than once if I don't catch you within the first few minutes. Let me catch up with the comments there. And as I always say, Guy, it's common courtesy. It's an energy exchange. If you're asking me for a reading, please have taken the time to like or follow me, please. Jenny. I want to say to you, yes, but I don't want to leave it as just a simple answer. I do want to say that I feel some immediate constructive energy within that, but I do want to say to you as well, it's almost like whatever that is making things better for later, okay? And I want to say that's when I feel not as true full force, because as I said, I am sitting content with the immediate question. But as I said, it's almost like what we lay here comes into serve in a stronger purpose a little bit further down the track. And we may not actually see the full fruits here. It may be here that we see them, okay? But I definitely want to say that the movements are correct. I want to pull you a couple of cards as well and just see what the energy has to say around with that. Alright, guys. Let me have a look. Energy. Yeah. Yeah, nice. I feel like your cards are just kind of validating what you already know there. So you've got the dead end card straight up, and it just talks about the fact that this way doesn't work, and that's what it is. It's that instigation, and it's changing things and laying the path, okay? I want to say to you, this very much relates to people around you, so the sheep in wolf's clothing, and I want to say to you as well, it's not just I don't feel connected to just one person, and I don't feel like it's connected just to personal either. I feel like I'm caught within either systems or organisations, you know, those kind of feel around it. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to suggest it's like a blanket cover, but it's almost like we're hitting into either like inefficiencies and gatekeeping and just, you know, a little bit of negligence, for want of a better word, throughout it, as well as the connection of not as much, you know, support on that personal circle side of things that's there. So it's like you've taken matters into your own hands and you're advocating, and so I really do feel like that's a nice, strong, positive energy, and it's cool. Like when I look at the outcome there, you've got release, and so release, self-love, and determination. And I do feel like one that you just said you're grabbing onto those skills and everything else now, but I also feel like that's what the reward is of there. It just may not be as a positive a feeling for everyone as what you actually know it to be, but it will be. Okay, so I hope that helps, and I wish you all the best and all the luck. Alright, let me catch up with the comments. So guys, just a gentle reminder, we're in a public forum here, so whilst we're in a public forum, there's no pregnancy, no legal and no health questions. Alright, so I've got a flip. Let me just jump across. Lauren Ann, I'd love some guidance. Nice. I want to say to you, when I tune into you, I go straight as far as career side of things with you go, and what I feel is that the message that I hear around with that, it's almost like things, I don't want to say things have necessarily been haphazard, but I feel like rewards that have been due and movements that we kind of have seen coming into place, there's been delays around, and those delays may have come in for various reasons, but I would just see them as delays. So what I'm feeling now is that it's almost like things have fallen back into places to where they should have been, okay? And so it's like, well, okay, now I can see where the path is clear. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily just connected to you personally. As I said, I feel like I'm connected back to the work side of things that's there. So obviously that's going to affect more than just one person. But it's a nice energy that's there, but I question whether or not, you know, what has kind of sat through there has shifted energies for you and perhaps changed some longer term plans around with things. I do feel like there's a collaboration of skill. So it's almost like, you know, when we go along and we do this and we do that and we do that and we do that, and we kind of take them all as one by ones, but it's not until we sort of sit back and look and go, oh wow, I've actually done all of this stuff here and I can put it all together. So just kind of sit back and have a look at that, especially if you are thinking about making some choices moving forward, okay? It's cool. Like I'm totally lost in my own head. You can see, you can probably tell. But I'm watching you. You're sitting at a desk, and I can see that you're controlling yourself. You know what I mean? And so, like, even if we think about like working on a resume or where we're moving forward and things like that, I just get this really nice sense of empowerment and self-control. And when I talk about control, I'm talking about achievement and, you know, an ability to be able to make those decisions in ourselves based upon the effort and things like that we put in. So it's nice. As I said, it's distracting. Let me pull you a couple of cards. there may be a little bit of indecision around you, and I want to say to you, just you know this old saying, go hard or go home. Why not? Alright, so when I pull your cards, you've got the balance card. So it talks about the yin and yang of life, you know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and all of those kind of little bits and pieces that are there. Okay, so I do want to say to you, just be mindful of that. I get it's funny, you've got a lot of little pockets going on around you, and I don't want to make that look bigger than what it is, but when I sit with the balance that's there, it's almost like there is this equal balance of not necessarily decision making, but you know, quandaries are sitting on both sides. So it's like, yeah, we've got work and bits and places, and then we've got like relationships and play and all of that that's there, and it's like I just need to, yeah, okay, so it's like I need to just kind of see what I want in all of this, you know. It's like I'm sitting in everyone else's not mess, but it feels like a mess when it's all sitting around me, and I guess maybe because it's more than just one person's energy that's sitting there. So yeah, just kind of check in and see where your balance is that's there. Like, are you happy with the balance that's there? And you know, making sure, as I said, that it's your balance. You've got the shit happens there, okay? And so very much so, what this card is just that saying, you know, in life sometimes shit happens. And, you know, it is simply just about not making mountains out of molehills and being able to sit back. And if you have a look, you know, the words that's there, it's all good, you know, work hard to stay connected, connecting with your emotions, you know, and the biggest one that's there as well, as I said, shit happens. It is just, yeah. Trust in your intuition. Trust your psychic senses, okay? And I feel like, you know, it's. I want to use that word quandary because it's almost like there has been this energy that's sort of ticking in the background and has you just aware, not necessarily like wanting to make big changes here, but starting to be aware that something's out of balance. And it's almost like the energy's coming in now and going, hey, you're generally quite onto it. I feel like you've got quite a good perception over yourself and your energy and everything else like that. And so it's almost like this is like that tap on the shoulder going, hey, do you see? And it's like, yeah, okay, I do. And yeah, I won't continue babbling. I'm sure you get my point by now. And so thank you very much for joining me tonight, Lauren Ann, and I hope that helps. All right. So I'm just going to grab Marika. Makarita, sorry if I'm not saying your name correctly. I can't bring you up onto my screen, but I am going to pull a card for you. So we've just asked, would love a free pool card pool, please, and thank you. All right, American. Nice. Okay, so when I pull cards for you, okay, you've got the Be Positive card, and it talks about the fact that your attitude is a choice, okay, and I want to pull all your cards before I explain, because you've got the female card that's there as well, and it talks about the fact that, you know, the energy has to come from within, the changes and the shifts that we want to see and everything else like that. Then you've got the prosperity, okay, and that is always part of me, the tree of life, and so, you know, I wanted to pull a couple more cards for you in just a second. So they talk about being open to the changes, okay, and not getting so caught up in your own head and taking your worries one step at a time. And so what I want to say to you is knowing there's a big energy within that question, okay, have a look and see what the message is that's there within the cards. So being positive, your attitude is a choice. And what that talks about is that we have a choice to sit and stress and worry and hold our body tight and, you know, kind of do all of those things. Or we can sit back and be excited about journeys to come and be excited about processes and everything else like that and just relax. When we're relaxed, our body can do what it needs to do much more fluidly, okay? So you've got the female card that's there, you know, that beautiful innate female energy as a woman that you need to be able to connect to, okay? And so you've got the prosperity card that's there, and as I said, that talks about abundance and everything else like that, but it is the tree of life, okay? Being open to the changes that are there. So again, stop stressing, relax, allow processes that need to be, and just be open to the process that needs to come in, because, you know, have a look at it like this. Sometimes we want $1 million, And it's not that the $1 million isn't there, okay? It can be that, we need to learn to manage our money first. And so we're going to get little lessons along the way that actually we might not want and might seem like we're, at the time, but it's actually putting us and just setting us up right so that when everything that does fall into play we're actually able to look after that, okay? So I just want to say to you at the moment, trust the processes and just allow yourself to relax, okay? I'm not feeling a need to panic long term or anything else like that here. So taking your worries and your doubts one at a time. And for me, I always look at it like a pie, and it's literally like that. If someone says to you, hey, eat this pie and all your problems and worries will be solved, and you're like, I'll be sick, chop the pie up, eat it over the course of a day. Don't try to eat it all at once, okay? So if that makes sense for you, all right? So I hope that helps. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. And don't forget to either follow or like if you would like to, please. All right, let me keep going. You're absolutely welcome. Absolutely welcome. All right, let me just catch up with the comments here too, guys. I've just got comments coming in a couple of places. What time are we at? 8:36. Oh, okay, nice. Jeanette, Jenny, Lou Simpson. Nice. I don't believe I've pulled cards for you before. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, and I will jump back up shortly as well, so I'll jump between the two guys. All right. Let me just focus on Jeanette though for a moment. Oh gee, you've got a nice intuitive energy that's there. I imagine that you get quite frustrated with yourself at times, knowing like the energy that's there, and yeah, it sits quite nicely around you. I won't say learn to, I feel like you already have learned to, but I want to say be a little bit more comfortable in kind of sitting with that trust and that knowledge. I think you'll be quite surprised. I play a game and I'm smirking because I've been like, I don't want to say that I've been smashing it because the next time I go to play it I'll suck. But when you're driving in the car, because I do a bit of driving, between events, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, very safely, and I'll sit. So I know a car's about to pass me, because I'm always safely in the middle lane. So I know a car's about to pass me, so I'll just sort of throw my energy back to that car just quickly, and just whatever's there straight up is what I sit with. So it's either a letter or a number, and I'm like that because that's going to connect to the number plate. And it goes past, and I've been like, 9 out of 10 sitting at the moment, except with trucks. I don't know why, but anyway. So what my point is, I'm digressing, play with yourself in that regard of psychic energy and bits and pieces. I think you're going to be really pleasantly surprised how snappy you are with it, and you'll find that it brings a sense of clarity and just a different kind of confidence when it comes to like making decisions and stepping just that little bit more over what you've been willing to already. Okay, you've got this. I get really excited when I sit in your energy. I want to smile, I want to bounce, and I just feel like almost I don't want to say that you're like a snake in the tin, and you take the lid off and it goes boing, but it's almost like there's just that little bit of trapped energy there, so just make sure we are letting the tension out of that spring every now and then. And as I say that, I laugh in my head because I feel like you're actually quite, how to take that, how to release the tension as well, just as nicely, but you get my drift. So within that, okay, so, and I just want to say to you, if there's a little bit of either a financial or a business energy around you of like an idea or a fruition that's just starting to come into play, just let it keep brewing around you, okay? I don't want to say that I feel like you're ready just to go off in leaps and bounds. I feel like there's still more knowledge, energy, wisdom that needs to come in and keep me in context, because wisdom's a big word. I'm not saying, just wait a few years. I'm just saying, you feel it, It's coming. It's like the tide's starting to come in. So taking a moment. Rest and gratitude are needed, and as I said, when I sit with you, I've got very, very bouncy energy. So gratitude is literally just that. It's about look at my hair. I always play with my hair. I hate it down. I don't anyway. Rest and gratitude. It's about kind of being able to sit back and go, you know what? I love the blue sky. I love the way that the clouds look. Wind is always my thing. I'm really discovering over the last couple of years how much I simply love the feel of wind on my skin for so many different reasons. And it's things like that, because when we can sit with something so simple, something so beautiful that surrounds us in our life, it brings us joy and it brings us happiness. And when we sit in a point of gratitude, our body doesn't want to sit in a point of unhappiness or anything else like that, because it's amazed at the simple joys of life, okay? And so just allow that to come in with you. I just feel like for you it's like an inspiration, keeping yourself grounded. As I said, you've got a springy energy that's there. So for me, it's like just putting fuel into the tank so that you're ready and charged to go, because I feel like there's a lot of energy, a lot of ideas that are coming in through you, okay? So as I catch my breath and jump in with your energy, catching the rainbow, you know, your goals are not impossible. And it is just there, that rainbow, pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So definitely pay attention, but as I said, it's with any journey forward, especially like even just, there's got to be an element of self-awareness and of self-control and of self-education and everything else like that. And the more that we're aware of ourselves, even if that awareness is like, yeah, I'm bouncy on this, on that and that, but you're aware of it, and so you know how to best orchestrate yourself within the movements to get the best outcome. And I feel like that's where the energy is sitting around you right now. I want to say pay attention to that, because as I said, I very much feel like it's taking you to this next point in time, okay? And so enjoy that. Hope that helps, and thank you very much for joining me. All right, now I just wanted to catch up to Casey. Let me just clear these and grab some water. Hang on. All right, Casey. Let me just throw my energy up there. Casey asks, will I sell my business, and will what I and will what I plan to do after be successful? Yep, sweet. I want to say to you, I don't feel like this is a new decision around you. It may be like literally a new decision that's been made, but the energy coming up behind it, I almost feel like that's been into play in several different ways for a decent amount of times, you know. And it may not have always looked like selling the business. It may have looked like, you know, as we said, a system in play, almost imagining what it would look like handing that over to somebody else one day, you know, and how they would do it and things like that. So I feel a real prominence around with that. I feel like you've got a real natural inquisitiveness for the way things tick, you know, the way things work. And obviously, you know, that will come in with business and financial and things like that. We're talking about business. And that in itself feels nice. I must say, I feel like there's an element of risk here, but it really feels like it's calculated risk, and I feel like you've calculated the risk. I don't feel like there's a financial demise here for you at all. In fact, I feel like it's rewards pay off is the sentence that I hear in my head. I don't feel like you're walking on this on your own, okay? When I'm sitting lost in my head at the moment that's there, I feel like I'm talking with people. I feel like I'm sitting with at least two other people. These may just be consultants around. They may very well be partners, but I see two people around with you. I feel like one of them is an energy that's been there longer than the other, okay, as well. But let me just pull you a couple of cards. Yeah, nice. So I want to say to you, you've got, so the self-trust card, okay? So self-trust and self-belief is where it all begins. And I feel like that's just a reminder for you at this point, okay? As I said, this isn't no spontaneous, oh yeah, I wonder if this will work kind of thing. I feel like there's literal blood, sweat and tears that have gone into even just the thought process around this. So staying connected to yourself, okay? Now, it's interesting because you followed with the clearing out of the stables, okay? Card straight afterwards. I want to say to you a couple of things off of that. So one, staying connected to yourself. And what that, for me, is reminding you of is that don't get into overthinking. Don't go backwards in your paper plan. You know what I mean? And the reason why I kind of sit and I started with that as well is because I feel like this isn't your own necessarily doing. Like, obviously you make the choices to think that way, but I feel like there's an influence or advice and, you know, little bits and pieces like that that are coming in. It may even be an innate part of you that's emotionally attached or sentimentally holding on to something or wanting to kind of please people, you know, and I want to be level with that because, as I said, you've got a really nice, strong business energy that's there. I don't feel like you're lost in that, but take from it what you need to and stay connected to yourself. And then you've got out with the old and in with the new. It's time to move forward, you know. You're shoveling it out the ship, but literally out with the old and in with the new. So absolutely, I do feel like this is a positive decision overall, but just if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Make sure that your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. Make sure that you're not kind of going, oh yeah, she'll be right, mate. Okay, and like, you know, if something's handed to you that's like 100 freaking lines long of like, oh my god, what the hell, read it. You know what I mean? Because it'll be a word in there that is important as a key word that you're going to be like, hang on, actually do. And it'll be fixed and solved. But okay, so I hope you get my point in all of that. Yes, overall it's there, but it's like a step up, and it's almost like it's sorry, I giggle. You must have a sense of humour as well, because it goes, that's right, you're going at the big school now, you know, and I don't want to underplay what you've done by any yards of the stick, but that's the sentence that comes into mind as I tune off. And so I hope that helps, KC. Thank you so much for joining me. All right. Let me catch up with the comments. Where are you? I saw your name a couple of times. Dav, sorry. Hi, would my new career option be a positive move, or would move or stay in our house? Will my new career option be a positive move? It's positive in that it's a step. I don't feel like where you're going is where you stay, and it may even be with a sense of frustration that you make a switch over. I'm happy with what you're doing. It's where you're at. I wonder if you move around to different job sites, different locations. And if you do, I will say to you that the first one's probably like, and that's fine. So without me being able to validate, just know, because in my head what I see is movement. Okay, and so that's where I kind of say to you, okay, the first, yes, I can jump on that quite nicely, but the first one feels like it's, and then I move on, okay, and it's the second job that I feel more settled in. But you know, I'm happy to take that as well as if you're changing sites, the second site, okay. So yes, will we move or stay in our house? I actually do feel a move, and I feel like this is a choice that you make. It's almost like a choice that's made because the question is here now. So it's almost like not avoiding the question coming up before, but like, oh well, the question's here. Maybe that's kind of leading us to, you know, actually sort of putting some energy into this and making a choice around it. So I don't feel like it's on your doorstep. I feel like this is a decision that may come into play over the next 12 months, and you know, obviously towards the later part of that 12 months. It's also either maybe waiting for someone to finish something, or, you know, once this happens, then that kind of not leaves us a little bit freer, but perhaps, you know, in different senses of the word it does. Okay. Let me just pull you a couple of cards. Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah. You've got, I know I do psychic and I don't always jump on with mediumship on the lives, as I said, because of the psychic, but I do want to say to you that you've got a real fatherly energy around you, but I do feel a connection to the father's father. A skinnier fellow that's there when I look at them on the later parts of their life. quite a gentle energy that's there. Not necessarily a big talker, and I don't necessarily want to say, I want to say there's love and there's a connection in this relationship, but either there was some logistical distance, or, you know, just as adults we didn't necessarily get to spend as much time together as what we should. But there's a lot of encouragement that comes around from that person, so much so, as I said, that I'm happy to bring them in. So when I pull cards for you, you've got the bigger picture, looking at long term, beyond self and moments. Okay, so that's the thing with this. I feel like it's a conscious decision that you're making, and you know, when we make big changes and bring new things in, it is a little bit of that trial and error and seeing what works, and you know, everything else like that. So I don't in any way kind of want to bring dismay in, and that's where I feel like your father energy steps in and around you. Okay, you've got the spirit card that sits there as well, which is, as soon as I put that down, I've got that beautiful gentleman sitting there. So the heartache card sits there, and that's what I'm saying to you. I don't feel like the round one is yay. Okay, and I feel like because this has been a decision, and a big decision, we could perhaps fall into that first time of instance and go, oh no, you know, I've made the wrong choice, or start questioning. But it's like, no, it's all good, it's all good. Stand strong. You made this choice for a reason, so be open to the changes that are sitting there. Okay, so just go with the flow. But it's like, you know, if I ask, don't ask, but if I get given a movement in my head, a vision in my head, I actually see you in this, like, I feel like I'm in like this 1970s Land Rover, and we're supposed to be driving out to somewhere, and all of a sudden we hit this road full of potholes, and I'm laughing as we're, you know, bouncing our asses all over this four-wheel drive, but we're getting bashed around a bit, you know, so not quite the smooth ride that we expected, but we reached the destination where we wanted to go in the end. You know, our asses might be a bit sore for a couple of days in the meantime. All right, so I hope all of that helps, and thank you very much for joining me this evening. All right. Regan Knox. So guys, the comments sometimes can come quite quickly. So as I always say, please feel free to comment more than once. Nobody is smashing the feed, I will say that in honesty, but yeah, just please don't. It doesn't get you read any quicker. But please do feel free to comment more than once if you feel the need to. But right now, Regan Knox, I would like to focus on you, please. So I would love a reading, please. Just quickly, how to get a reading, just comment. Yeah, so yeah, it's all cool. I can't promise everyone gets selected, but I'll do my best to get to as many as possible. No legal, no pregnancy, no health questions, because we're in a public forum. And please, if you're going to ask for a reading, have the common courtesy, as I always say, to either like or follow me. Thank you. All right, Regan, let me bring my energy back to you. You've got a nice intuitive energy too. I'm curious if you're actually playing with cards, not necessarily right this second, but in a general sense. Yeah, hang on, let me pull you some cards. I want to say something. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I want to say to you, I'm a little bit of a straightforward person, and my friends tend to know that about me. And so, but what I always giggle about is getting lost in the fancy stuff of things, you know what I mean? And so, like, just hear me out for a second. Like, let's take counselling, for example, okay? Just because, yeah, whatever. And so, like, we have someone that's a counsellor, you know, and you may have someone like myself that, you know, has done a degree, is doing masters, is putting like freaking hard years of time and effort. And then you got someone that does a Cert 2 and then goes and does, I don't know, let me make up something like Connect with the Stars counselling, you know, and they do a 4-hour course, and they call themselves all this, you know, fancy words, and then they step through, and what happens is we get this flux of people that run through, and all you hear around you is these big fancy words and you know, all these different ways of doing everything and everything else like that, and it can make you kind of stand back sometimes, especially when you're new and you're stepping into something, like, what am I missing here? Like, oh my god, I must be, like, you know, not doing this right, or, you know, why is it that I just want to focus on the straightforward stuff? You know, what am I? And so what I want to say to you is, as advice, as, you know, someone who's like getting on with their age, is that stick with the real stuff. Don't worry about the big words. Don't worry about adding fancy labels to yourself and everything else like that. You've got this real nice grassroots, keeping it real, no bullshit kind of energy, and I really kind of want to keep that with you. People, some people just enjoy that energy. It might sort of sit with more of their way of spiritual, or their way of healing, or their way of counselling, and that's totally cool, but not everyone's going to kind of resonate with that. And so what can happen, as I said, is it's that those that don't necessarily resonate with it can be surrounded with it and feel a little bit lost within that. Okay, I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. What I want to say is keep it real. As your energy moves forward, you've got this really nice ability to kind of be what you want to be, and I feel like you're still kind of doubting that, and I can resonate with that a lot. And so just make sure you're getting out of your own way, okay, and just paving your own road with gold. And if you haven't got any gold bricks, that's cool, go buy some glitter, and get some glue out and freaking make them gold yourself, and just allow yourself to dazzle and shine as you're walking along. You're like, you've got the shit happens card that sits there, and for me, when I sit with that, I don't feel like I'm just sitting with, I want to say this or this or this. I feel like you've actually had, your life has had a lot of experiences in it that can, kind of come under that category that's there. And what I want to say to you is this, like, one, I do believe that to a certain element we choose where we sit, I know that we can't predict our whole life that's there, but I share that because I just want to say that we can look back at times, and it doesn't mean that things were okay or that we don't care that they didn't happen, but we learn a different perspective, and it comes from a point of healing, and it comes from a point of growth, and it comes from a point of recognising that our value and our confidence is still just as strong. I know it sounds silly, but for like a really long time, I automatically put myself in a lower stance around people. So if I was standing in a room full of people that had exactly the same educational quality that I had, but maybe all come from, backgrounds that weren't fraught with crap, I would automatically, just naturally in my head, I was just assuming that I was here, like I wasn't either as educated or I wasn't as worthy because my life had been filled with trauma that had nothing to do with me. I didn't freaking choose it. You know what I mean? And so I share that because I just want to make that point that's there of looking back and seeing of things and life experiences. They don't define us. They create opportunities for us to learn and to grow and get kicked in the ass along the way and dragged up. I get all of that. But ultimately, in the end, what happens because of those experiences is our choice. And so I just feel like I needed to share that with you, okay? And so you've got the male card that's there, so calling on your strength, and the female card is there, but the male card's different to the female card. The female card talks about changes have to come from within you, and I hold that with you. But the male card is about going, you know what, I've got this, and calling on your strength, okay? And so just keeping that in mind. Now, when I pulled your third card, I pulled out two at once, and you've got the intuition card that's there, which makes just absolute sense for me. Trust your energy, okay? You've got a lot of lessons that are still going to come into play across your life, but I feel like that's part of your journey, and it doesn't mean that like, guess what, crap, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means you're going to have a lot of lessons, you're going to have a lot of time for learning, which means you're going to have a lot of wisdom, which means you're going to give a lot of guidance. All right, so take your beautiful slice of the pie within that, okay? So I hope all of that helps. I know that it was a big that I gave to you there, but thank you very much for joining me. All right, let's keep going. So guys, always appreciate a thumbs up or a heart or anything else like that. It helps with my algorithm. Again, as common courtesy, I don't check. I read to who I'm drawn to. I do not check whether you've liked or followed me or anything else like that, but I just ask as a common courtesy if you are going to ask for a reading, that you've taken some time. Yes. Janine, do you have any cards for me tonight, please? Absolutely. Oh yeah, and just always remember that as well. I know it scrolls across, but I do not send friend requests. I do not message you asking you for your credit card details to get a reading or anything else like that. Just keep that in mind. All right, Janine, let me focus on you. What's up? Okay. Do you need anything?
No, it's because my internet's not working on the phone.
I'm not sure. You have to wait a minute.
What?
It's going to stand there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What's the green on it?
Don't know. Got my little one standing next to me in case you guys can't tell. I do the live feeds at home sometimes, and so yes, I've got my little one telling me her internet's not working. Alright, Janine, so I just wanted to pull your cards before I addressed her, but I do want to sit with your energy still. So what I want to say to you, Janine, is you've got the heartache card, but you've got the moving on card, and you've got the take a chance card that's there, okay? When I sit with the energy around you, it's almost like it's like, okay, well, if we go through what we need to do now, it's actually going to pay off for us later, okay? So challenging matters of the heart around. And so I want to say to you that what you're feeling right now is telling you something. And it's I knew I heard this for a reason this morning. I heard this really enlightening sentence, and so much so I made sure I wrote it down. And it said that our emotions aren't directions, they are data. And I was like, freak yeah. And basically what it's saying is, it's like, if we're feeling heartache, it's not saying feel sad, you know what I mean? It's telling us that something isn't meeting our needs. It's telling us that something is making us feel this way that's not there. And so rather than going, okay, I am sad, it's like, no, I am feeling sad, and what is it that's actually making me feel that? Does that make sense? That's there? You know, our emotions are not directions, they are data. They are telling us something. And, you know, when I looked at it from that perspective, gee whiz, I resonated with that, and I obviously grabbed onto it for you this morning, so I hope that you do as well. Moving on towards better things. Okay, we're over the ocean. This is a big trip, which generally comes off the back of big changes, you know. It's not a little sailing boat that we're on. We're on a big voyage that's there. But we have to be willing to take a chance, you know. Like, nothing changes if nothing changes. Literally, nothing changes if nothing changes. Like, think about that for a moment. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Okay? So, I wanted just to continue your story just a little bit. So, you know, be positive. Alright? Our attitude is a choice. And that's the thing that's there. On a rainy day, we've got a choice. Do we sit back and go, oh, it's raining, I'm going to get soaking wet? Or can we sit back and go, oh, hallelujah, my garden's going to be watered, and, you know, my head went straight away to my native plants that I don't have with me at the moment, that are somewhere else, and I'm like, yes, they're getting the water and they need that, so you know what I mean? That's where my head went. You've got the crossroads, decisions and choices and direction, and that's the thing with it, you know, as I said, that heartache that's there. We have a choice that's here. Our emotions are telling you something. What are your emotions telling you? Why is that sitting around for you? It's your the questions that are there are the answers that you have that are your directions, essentially. If you sat with pen and paper, you'll find that's exactly what the outcome will be. So you've got the male card that pops out there as well, and as I said, it's time to call on your strength, okay? So, like, keep this in context to where it is relevant around with you now, and it's not about wiping out things away from you, okay, at all. It's about moving on, and that moving on doesn't mean letting go. All right, I just want to be really clear around with that. But it also means, you know, bringing our voice in, working more with our boundaries, you know, being more challenged, whatever it is for you that's there. All right, and I just feel I want to be clear with that. This isn't about letting go, it's about moving on. All right, so I hope all of that helps, and thank you very much for joining me this evening. All right. Chloe. I haven't got a surname on you that's there, but your question just says, I'd love one next. Let me pull some cards for you, Chloe. All right. Chloe. You look a little bit young to probably know the song I'm making reference to. Chloe, it's called Chloe's Dancer. It's right in my head now. It's on the Singles soundtrack. There's a movie called Singles when I'm showing my age now, but that's all cool. It's a really good soundtrack for anyone that's into the old school grungy stuff, you know, Soundgarden. Alright, Chloe, that's where my head went with your question. Let me pull some cards for you. Yeah, nice. All right. So, Chloe, as I was pulling your cards, I want to give you your message as I received it. So, your first card out was taken a moment. Rest and gratitude are needed, okay? And I'm not sure how long you've been, so I'll give you a quick catch up. But gratitude for me is about, sweetheart, don't jump around me, okay? Yeah, okay, that's cool, but you're flipping and flopping. Alright, so it's about rest and gratitude are needed. And what this does, as I said, when we take time to actually have the gratitude, so it's not about going, oh, I'm grateful for what I've got, I should just be happy with what I've got, not by any yards of the stick. It's about taking that time to sit back and just kind of connecting in with the things that make you feel good, you know. So as I always give the example, because I'm living my best world, discovering all the different ways I enjoy wind on me, and I'm in my 40s, and I just kind of, you know, I'm working out, oh, this wind, that wind, and all the different ways it makes me feel. And it's wind, you know, so to get my point around gratitude that's there, what fills you up, what makes you feel good? Because I feel like you almost like need to be aware of that. You know, it's like you're loading your resources. You're loading up some resources because you have a decision to make, choices, decisions, directions, and personally I don't think it's the one that you actually want to make, it's the one that you have to make, okay? And with that, and before, as I pulled that, I connected in with the person. As your third card come down, that's what it was, alright? And so, you know, as I sit with your energy that's there, yeah, so you've got a little bit of betrayal around you. Sheep in wolf's clothing, okay? That's literal, that card, sheep in wolf's clothing. It's one of the only cards in the deck I didn't put any writing on because it is exactly what it means, okay? And this way is not working around you, and you know it, alright? But you also have a lot of genuine support around you, so you need to utilise that. It's almost like, again, you know, you're loading up your bag, so what do you need, you know? Water, food, if you're thinking about resources, that's almost what it's like. I'm packing my resources because I have a decision to make that isn't the one that I wish that I had to, but it's the one that I have to. It's going to suck, I know that, but the evidence is clear in front of me, okay? And when you do that, just so you know, yep, see, your goals are not impossible. You're going to get a new phase that comes in and you get sweet-ass freedom, all right? So honestly, I encourage you to make the tough decisions around yourself right now that need to be made. In no way, shape or form are you going to regret it. I'm not going to say that you're going to enjoy it, but you sure as hell is not going to regret it, all right? So I hope that helps. All right. So guys, we've got just under 10 minutes left. And I can hear the rain absolutely bucketing down around me, which is another thing that is nice and part of my gratitude reflection at times. So I'm going to pull one from here and one from there. So guys, as well, so I'll give you all just a little bit of a, I don't know, heads up, I guess, for want of a better word. So I've been, for ages and ages and ages, you know, trying to work out around the best way to do like the little daily card pulls and all of those kind of little bits and pieces. And to be quite frank with you, by the time that I sit here and, you know, get it right, I may as well, and much would preferably, actually physically interact with you guys, okay? So, just keep an eye out for that. It will be around various times as I sort of settle in, but it's kind of like a lunchtimes with Liz kind of energy, okay? So it won't be at night times. Friday's still staying. Friday at 8 o'clock still stays. But I've kind of got a lunchtime at Liz thing building up and blowing up in the background, okay? So make sure that you like my page and because then you'll be notified as that all happens. But I just thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a heads up that that's happening. Next Friday night, guys, the live feed is going to be earlier in the week because I will be in Brisbane on Friday night. Mind Body Spirit Festival is on in Brisbane Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would love to see you there. We are in stand G22 and I'm with the beautiful Leonie Pearson. I'm going to have the awesome Karen is taking bookings, so come in and smash her, make her work her butt off taking bookings for us. That would be awesome, and I would love to meet you because it is our first time coming to Brisbane, so I'm really excited about that. So yes, on with the show. Do a couple more readings here. Guys, if you haven't already, as I said, always appreciate a thumbs up, a heart, da 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 da. Da 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 is a quick way of saying a lot, isn't it? Gets the point across. Where did that go? Oh. Yeah, okay. Robin. What do I see? Hello, I would like to know how you see my current work situation, please. It was funny because it was like it wasn't one that your energy jumped out to me. The answer did not. So that's why I'm just taking a second to sit with it, because I was drawn to you. I was like, yeah, okay, I feel like I need to take this one. I would like to know how you see my current work situation, please. Current work situation. Yeah, okay, so we've got, I feel like there's new blood that's sitting there, okay, but it's not like it's across the board. I see it as veins kind of seeping in, you know, and it's if I kind of look at that even in a literal sense, it's there. I wonder if, you know, one person's kind of cut up here is bleeding down through, you know. But I want to say to you, you know, it's that it settles, that's there. So it's almost like we've got a choice that sits there around it. I feel like I can just sort of go, deal. There's a loss of personality here. You know, and it's not to do with you, and I know a business isn't a person, so it doesn't have a personality, but you know what I mean, the personality of the business. It's shifting and it's changing. And so it's almost like if I choose to sit here and move on with it, it's a silence is the word that's in my head, and I know it's not literally silent, but that's what it feels like. It's silent. It's almost like some of the joy's gone. Okay, and when I say some, I probably mean like a lot. You know, but it doesn't mean that everything else sucks. It just means that, yeah, what once was just isn't. The culture is really shifting. That, yeah, it's and new ways of doing things that's there. Okay, you can see it's yeah, it's an interesting energy to sit in. So what I want to say to you when I bring my focus back to specifically what the question was, I would like to know how you see my current work situation, please. Okay, so it's with choices, but I do feel like it's almost a stagnicity on the other side. So if I say, okay, well, let's jump out of this, and I take myself to that energy and what plays out there, I actually feel some delay around it. I feel like it can take almost like 6 months, you know, if I start looking for another job or to change out and over. And I feel like there's some kind of very specific reasons for here. I'm wondering if there's actually a tie here as well, like either between like either a family connection or I've been here 20 years, or, you know, my best mate works there, but there's a tie that goes like onto a personal level beyond the work, and, you know, similar to the examples that I've just given, that's there. But, you know, I say bring that attention and focus back to yourself, because this is your life, you know, on the bigger picture and everything else like that. I don't want to get too profound with that. So I do feel like it is going to take a significant amount of energy to actually make the shift out. And I can stay and everything's fine, but it's almost like, to say, as I said, you know, I know that's a big statement to make, but that's what it feels like. It's like the joy is gone that's there. It's, you know, that old saying, and I know some people really like prunes. I've never actually eaten one in my life, but a sucked up, dried up prune. And that's what I see in my head as a representation of the work as well. But the work's there, it's there, I'm paid, it's secure, you know. So it depends on where the balance is and what the needs are, I guess, is what's going to kind of dictate the decision that you make out in the end. But ultimately, I feel like the decision that you make is even a sort of a harrowing one with angst. So I very much encourage you to just remember that you have this life once and to do what makes you happy. All right, so I hope that helps. All right. So, 59 minutes and 20 seconds. So I'm going to do one more reading, guys. So as I pull out, I don't have a penis, I don't pull out. As I leave for the evening, I'm going to do one more reading, guys. Just remember that next week's live feed will be earlier, but you'll see the lunchtimes with Liz again. Don't know exactly what that looks like, but at least it has a logo or a slogan. Lunchtimes with Liz. Anyway, it's not going to go like that. I get all excited when I've been reading for a while, sorry. But, so yes, I'm in Brisbane next week. Other than that, live feeds will not be changing 8 o'clock on the Friday night. And for those of you that would like to book a reading one-on-one, you can always do so via my website, which is soulfulcreations.com.au. Otherwise, you can click the book now buttons and things like that. Alright, so guys, I'm going to do the last reading. So please chuck us a love heart or a thumbs up as you leave for the evening. And I look forward to seeing you next time. But let me have a look and see. So, Twinkle, I've got your business name, and that's totally cool. Twinkle Dusters Cleaning. I'm going to do a reading for you. Twinkle's dusting. Twinkle, twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle. You've got a really nice steady energy around, and perhaps just because I have tuned into you, like obviously in regards to a cleaning name there, okay, but there's a really nice fluid system around you with that, and I want to say to you that even if it's got nothing to do with cleaning and that you do, but that's the energy that I've jumped through, like business-wise with you, there's a really nice steady flow of growth. You know, like sometimes when things go too quick, but it's not as easy to manage. I just feel like it's this really nice gentle expansion. It's quite nice. Let me pull a couple of cards for you. Okay, so I want to say to you that, yeah, nice. So I just want to pull a couple of cards to see. So the card that comes out, you've got support around you, okay? So I feel like that is just a sort of gentle reminder around with you, and a reminder that you can trust those as well. I feel like there's a lot of trust that comes into that for you as well, okay? And so you've got the no card that comes out, and so when you pull the no card within my spreads, it's about no, don't not believe. And so when I pop your card down on there, you've got the new beginnings card, okay? And so what that talks about is don't doubt what's in play here, okay? There's a really nice sort of solid energy around you. New beginnings that are coming into play as well. There's very much, even if we are coming in on a business perspective with you, I feel like there's new beginnings on a personal side of things, okay? Look, yes, there's a baby on the card. It can absolutely represent that. For you, though, I'm more connected to you as a person rather than you producing a child, okay? And so you've got the balance card that's there. So just being mindful. And I feel like it's important just that what they showed, that the expansion just feels really nice. It feels really comfortable. It's funny, the reference I'm given is when we eat too much and our belly's really full and we're like, oh my God, and it hurts and it's painful. It's like they're going, no, it's not like that. We've eaten just the right amount. We feel discontent and full here. Don't overthink it and don't overdo it. So if I continue to pull your cards, okay, it's just saying if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it is a duck. And I feel like for you, it is just recognising yourself within those patterns and plays, okay? You've got the phase out there with the sun card, obviously a few little challenges that come along the way. You may need to, not everyone has your back when we have growth around us, okay? Friends and other people, envy, jealousy, all of those kind of things, it can rear its ugly head. And so you may actually find that you have to call out on that a little bit stronger. I'm not seeing conflict around you, but I am seeing, if I sit 2 years from you right now, that everyone that's around you right now, not everyone will still be there. But I do want to say that those that step back will be replaced, okay? You're stepping into a really nice, your vibe is your tribe kind of energy, so I don't feel like I need to stress that too much. Just be nice and positive and keep yourself focused on the bigger picture. All right, so I hope all of that helps, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It has been a pleasure to read for you all. I've got to fix the camera alignment up a little bit so that my eyes aren't jumping up and down, so that's all good. But thank you so much for joining me this evening. I will be back tomorrow on there, as I said, around the lunchtime side of things. Lunchtimes with Liz again. Still not 100% sure what that looks like, but it will be there. So thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't already liked or followed my page, please do so. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. Bye, guys. Oh my God, I just meant to click my computer screen.